So, guys, it is wonderful to see y'all again. Today, I changed my scenery a little bit because I don't know, I'm trying to have this kind of relaxing vibe this summer. Like I'm really tuning into myself. I'm really taking it a step at a time, a day at a time, a moment at a time. I'm still heavily messing up, but at the same time I am still doing well, which is crazy to me, but I like it. It's fun, and it's different to see myself in a different light, like choosing not to do certain things, choosing to not be a part of certain things, and just being me to the fullest extent. Like, that is crazy. Like, I've always been me, but this time I don't limit who I am so that whoever I'm around or whoever I like can feel like they appreciate me more. Like, right now I just be myself, and if it turns you off, I'm cool with that, and if I like you and you end up having to walk away, because being myself is just kind of mission with who you are and what you're currently representing, then I'm in a place now where I'm okay with that. I'm okay with people leaving. I have left a lot of things, actually, and to be fair, it doesn't affect me, not unless I allow it to. And I really maybe we can expound on that, because I'm a big believer in in Murphy's Law. And I know a lot of people probably think of it as a very pessimistic approach, because Murphy's Law pretty much says that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And to me, I identified with it because I didn't find it as pessimistic. I found it as a way for you to really view real life. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. But, nowadays, the version of me is like, okay, well, I wouldn't say version. Me as a person, what I'm trying to adapt is that if something can go wrong, it doesn't mean that it will go wrong. So I'm a little bit in a little awkward stage in my healing journey, because like I'm just hell-bent on no, whatever can go wrong will go wrong. But then I'm also now looking at it like, yeah, it can go wrong, but it doesn't mean that it have to, and it doesn't mean that it will. So with that new application that I've processed in my own likeliness, I have to say that I am okay with ending things. And it was really rough when I decided to do this, like fully just embody me, whatever that looked like. And I'm not saying that you should always just be a brat, because people have feelings, like they feel things, and if you care for them, then all right, maybe you can just tune this up a little. But I think being your authentic self should always come first. However, you can have compromises, and I think I've compromised a lot. Actually, I have allowed just some things that when I look back at it, I'm like, girl, what? Why would you let something like that slide? But I just look at things like, if it didn't take my life, then all right, I have a next day to just do it all over again and probably do it better. Like, that's the mindset that I've always had. So a lot of things that are considered to even be traumatic, I didn't like look at it like that. I didn't classify it as a trauma, because I'm just like, yeah, it's normal. Maybe a lot of people go through it and they just carry on with their lives. So I like to think that this time around I'm happy. I'm really happy, and this happy is coming from inside. Like, I get to hold the little girl hand of me again. I get to hold her hand, and we're walking around proudly. We're jumping and hopping and skipping and smiling, and we have rough days, and we talk about the rough days, We talk about the beautiful days. We talk about the way that we just went about life and why I had to leave her behind. It's a real tough conversation to have with yourself, but it's a very necessary conversation because you have to have accountability, right? You have to allow that nakedness and vulnerability with yourself first before you can do that with anyone. You have to know why this thing makes you just cringe. You have to know why that thing allowed you to get out of body like that. Like you really have to talk to yourself. And I know people are always like, oh, you talk to yourself, you're crazy. No, that's them trying to get all up in your head and tell you about what society would like you to represent yourself as so you don't seem crazy. But you're the one going through everything that you're going through. So why does it matter? If they want to call me crazy, let them. You don't even want the people to tell me I'm crazy. Okay, but your definition of crazy might not be mine, so I don't really care, is what I'm trying to say. But, you have to have that rawness about you. You have to have your wits, Some things you're going to have to laugh it off and be like, John knows, But other than that, keep it real with yourself. And if you are forming, and I really want you guys to take this seriously, you see relationships, whether it's platonic, with your friends, or whether it's intimate with your partner, lover, or situation, however you want to classify it, you are giving yourself, you are sharing yourself. So ensure that the parts of you that you really adore is highlighted in those friendships and those relationships, because that's all you got, right? And that's where the compromise comes in. If you have friends, well, and then again, let me clarify a little bit, because we have different tiers to friendship. We have different categories and subcategories that we like to put people in. If it is someone that you just merely associate with and it's neither here nor there, you guys don't have that strong of a bond. I'm not saying don't be yourself, but I don't think certain things about them would affect you. So you being whatever you want to be, it's neither here nor there to you. And I'm gonna use an example. It's like being at work. You have your co-workers, so you're not going to put out the vulnerable you, the hurting you. You're gonna have your walls up. You're gonna have guards because, all right, this is my co-worker, this is what I'm doing here for now. They don't need to know me. That's cool. You just play the go along to get along game. But when I talk about relationships that you really respect, like your friendships and your partner, I want you to be able to put yourself out there. Because, if I could be honest, sometimes we have friends and partners that we don't even really show them who we are, because we think that we're a little bit too broken, and if we probably show them this side and that side, then they'll run away. And so a lot of times when we get into friendships or intimate relationships with people, we find that after a while it breaks off. And the reason why some of that happens, I'm not saying it's the only reason, but some of that happens because you're in a relationship or you have a friendship and you keep living in this facade. You keep presenting this facade like, oh, I'm this person and I'm cool with this and I'm chill with that, and yeah, that don't bother me. But deep down, it's affecting you. But you want to keep these people, and you feel like if you show who you are, then chances are they'll walk away. But I think we get it twisted, because we are supposed to show who we are from the get-go, so they can have the right to decide if they want to stay or go. It don't make no sense you build up on something that you're not truly being yourself, because you are going to get exhausted. After a while you're going to be like, man, what the hell did I do? This is not me. This is not what I stand for. Before you know it, you having temper tantrums, or you having flare-ups, or you're getting agitated, just a whole bunch of things just going bad, and then it ends up pushing away this person, and you're like, yeah, well, whatever, it's cool, you're gonna leave anyway. No, this person, you lied to them. You were being deceptive. You showed them something that you thought would captivate them, and it did, because you presented yourself in a way where you were being selfish. And I'm not saying don't be selfish about you, but if it's something that you want to work out in the long run, I really feel like you should put who you are out there for that person to decide, hey, I can handle this, or no, I'm cool on that. And I know rejection hurts. I know when you put yourself out there, half the times the reason why we don't even do that is because we are just afraid of them turning us down. And to be honest, we haven't given ourselves enough chance on how to regulate our emotions to deal with no and deal with rejections and just deal with life. However, we're taught to just suppress it, shut it down. They didn't like you, screw them. And that's not a correct approach. I do not have the best approach. I've always just believed that I don't need to let nobody get to know me. And then the minute my friends or my lover start asking to know me, then no, I'm gonna do everything I can to push them away. Because no, I just feel like that's me and that's mine, and it's not something I want to share. But how fruitful can your relationship be, whether platonic or intimate, if they have no idea of who you really are? You see, yes, you know that you're a straight up person, you know that you got their back, you know that they can always depend on you, but what do they know about you in terms of trusting you? And a lot of times people walk away because they find that they cannot trust you, and you just sit there and you're like, well, I know you were going to leave, so good thing I didn't open up, when you'd have probably been able to avoid that whole can of worms had you open up. But I'm not going to force you or tell you and coerce you to feel like go out there and be yourself 100%. And people are gonna know, some people are gonna, when you present yourself, they're gonna just still take you as a lesser value sometimes and walk away and be like, oh, I'm not in the. And we have to give them the chance to decide what they can deal with, because we decide as well. We have our hearts and we decide who we let into it and how much we want to use it in specific situations with specific people, so I feel like we should give them that choice as well. But as much as all we pretend that we do not have narcissistic traits, we do. We walk around the world with just what we want, how we want, whenever we want it, and that's that. And it's like everybody having their business, and there's not going to be any customers. There's not going to be any sales. There's not going to be any growth, because everybody have their own business. So it's okay to acknowledge, and again, this comes back to you being raw and upfront with yourself, to be like, all right, I have some narcissistic ways about me, and I have some overprotective ways about me, and I have some really temperamental ways about me. Like, just admit who you are to you. And when you admit who you are to yourself, pretty much what I'm trying to say is, whatever and whoever you choose to engage with, depending on how deep you want to go, present yourself properly so that they can decide what they're able to deal with. And everything is progressive with a conversation. When we assume things, we get stuck in our heads and we create all of these scenarios. Again, Murphy's Law, my thing. Because if I think of a situation in 50 different ways, it includes both positive and negative. And I'm going to think about the fact that, all right, the positive, yeah, it's cool and all. But if I take out all of that delusion, the negatives will happen, the bad will happen, and I want to prepare myself for that. So I do believe that whatever we're doing, whatever we are spending time with, think about it from the positive, think about it from the negative. Murphy's Law is more on the negative. So whatever can happen will happen, and that is Murphy's Law. And I've always stuck with it because it does ring true to me. But now I'm trying to combat it with the, not because it can happen means that it will happen, So, that's where I'm at in my journey. And I figured I would just share some of how I cope with it with you in case you're in this journey. Because guys, I really want you to understand the beauty of you. I feel when we don't get to know ourselves, we limit ourselves. We stay in little boxes, when you have like a check box, and yeah, that's how we check ourselves off. based on life requirements and society's conformities and all of that. And if you're ever going to truly and fully believe in yourself, you have to understand that you are saying no to a lot of the things that are considered as the way of life. Okay, so I want you to be able to accept that challenge. Prepare for the battle, because it's coming. Once you decide to put you as the end all be all, not without God, I really hope that you're not feeling like God is not important. However, I will respect whatever you believe in, but for me, the Almighty is a big part of me. Okay, and in my world, in my reality, the Almighty is at the pinnacle of everything. So you're never without that guidance, that blessing, that inner sight, all of that. So every move that you're going to make, talk about it with yourself, because that's where the Almighty resides, within you. And I promise your back will be had, okay? Your back will be had. And sometimes you won't understand why you even have to go through the things that you have to go through. But, you have to trust the process. And I guess that's where faith comes in. And if I'm being honest, I didn't have much of that. I really didn't. But aspects to my life prove that even though I didn't have a lot of it, I had enough that was able to help me up and build me up to the point where I'm able to come here and share with you this. So put yourself on a pedestal, because you're you, and you need to start believing that you're you. And if you are going to be interested in someone romantically, or if you're going to be interested in the friendship and the bond that you have, then I do feel like it is necessary for us to be fair and to be just. Do not trick someone into staying around. It's not going to work out well. You're going to end up hurting, because you're going to be tired. After a while, you won't be able to keep up with the facade anymore. And then when they leave, chances are they probably wouldn't have if you had just told them. So now they can't know which side of you to trust. And when trust is gone, it rarely ever comes back. And if it comes back, it's not like on the level that it was before. So spare yourself all of that, Yes, relationships may not work out. But as I've been learning, they can. And when it does, why you believe that you don't have what it takes for it to work out? So that's where I'm at in my journey. I'm still with Murphy's Law, but I'm also accepting the fact that a path can be laid out for me if only I just believe in myself enough to walk it. So I hope that helps. I hope that helps. We can talk about more laws, because there are just so many things going on regarding healing and journeying with yourself. So we'll always have a lot to talk about. I just wanted to share that with you for a moment, that even though I am a fan of Murphy's Law, and I think I know the name of the law that that combats it, actually, with the more optimistic approach, but I do not want to pronounce it terrible. I do not want to do any form of disservice to it. So I just say Murphy's Law and then the positive, because I want to make sure everyone gets their due diligence and their respect. Things can work out for you. In fact, things will work out for you, but it starts with you believing in that. And I want you to believe in that, because guys, life is beautiful, It has some crappy days, but some good things happen. Good things happen, and some bad things happen. But I don't want you to keep giving up on yourself. That doesn't do anything for you. That keeps you in a prison that you created. Why you create a prison and put yourself in it? Society is already a prison and you need to break out of it. And the only way that you can do that is by believing in yourself. Because I believe in you, you know. So I'm sharing that with you, and I really, really hope that you're taking yourself seriously. I love that you're trying. I love it. There will be dark days. But again, the bond that you're trying to make with your friend and the love that you're trying to dive in with your partner, it's very much there. It's very much possible. But it starts with you being your authentic self. The positives are there and the negatives are there. I'm a big believer in whatever can go wrong will go wrong. But lately, I've also implemented the thought process of not because something can go wrong means that it will go wrong. So you see, there's a little dilemma with who I am and what I'm presenting myself to my core as. So when it comes to relationships, again, whether it may be platonic or intimate, present yourself to the person, allow them to present themselves to you, and you both create a checklist if necessary. Ask the person about them and let them tell you whatever their truth is. Now, if what they've presented, you can work with it, work with it. If you cannot work with it, you let them know, hey, based on where I'm going or based on what I'm representing, you are a trigger for me. Or based on the growth process that I'm trying to ensure happens, it's a go ahead for me. So I'm gonna work with you. Because that's all it takes. No one is going to be the perfect 10 in terms of everything that you want in a partner or in a friendship. Okay? We're not grading ourselves. Please, people, stop grading yourself. That is very disrespectful to who you are. But in the sense of looking for just like that perfect score where this person hits every single thing that you're looking for, it may not be possible. I'm not saying that it can't be, but it may not. And I don't want you to go out there and think that, yes, everything that I want in a person is going to be there. So that's the only way I'm going to look at life. No, because you'll have a rude awakening, okay? You will be like, I played myself. So please, no, right? So just think about the things that you can say, all right, I'll work on this with this person. Or no, it doesn't really represent something that I want to stand for at this point. And you make your decision. Get to know someone. You don't have to tell them everything about you on the first time meeting, is what I'm trying to say. But gradually, and I think 6 months is a fair amount of time for you to assess if you really want to have this person as a friend or have this person as a lover, however you're viewing the relationship. 6 months is probably a very good time. You can take a longer time, and if you feel like the connection is great and it takes less than 6 months, I mean, cool. But spend some time around who's supposed to be your friend, who's supposed to be your lover, and take mental notes, take notes. Engage in activities that they like, engage in activities that you like, formulate a bond, just go out there and just see what it's like. And within that time frame, you can tell, okay, I want to know more about this person, or no, after a while the energy is not there, I feel drained, or something feels missing. Listen, to me, I think you should know what a person is like when they have happy days, when they have sad days, when they get angry, when they're overwhelmed, when they're feeling like just everything. That's just me. I like to see all of that because it helps me to make a mental note. And if whatever you are, giving off is something that I actually want to receive. Again, it comes with a part of the narcissistic traits that we have going on. Your narcissistic trait does not mean that you need to embody just a full-blown narcissism role. Please don't do that. But admit to who you are. This is about you. So you're going to need to be selfish, and you're going to have some level of narcissism, and you're going to need some delusion. Because you know what you deserve. You know what you can accept. You know that what you don't want to be a part of. So yeah, it's about you. again, everything in life is about how we use it, how we project it, how we interpret it. 6 months is a fair enough amount of time to me, you know, to decide on if you want to continue this friendship with this person, if you want to continue this relationship with this person, because when they are themselves and when you are yourself, then it gives you an idea of what may happen, and you should know what you're able to be a part of, what you can accept, what you can entertain, and what you can let go of. On this journey with yourself, you have to know just how much you can take. You have to know how much you want to take, right? You are building on you. You are establishing yourself. So you cannot, and please don't, drain yourself trying to save somebody else. On the days when you cannot stand this person, are you still going to be there for them during the friendship, during the relationship? Because there will be times when they get on your nerves. So if it's someone that you feel like you cannot respect on that level, then that is not the place for you. I feel like 6 months is enough time for you to be attached enough, but not too attached where you cannot walk away from something. Okay? So that's really what I wanted to share, that my journey, you know, Murphy's Law, but I'm also incorporating that positivity. I don't have it all figured out either. Like some days I go back on the things that I say, and then, you know, I have to kind of just pull myself real quick and be like, girl. And then I'm like, all right, Jade, no worries. I'm gonna keep it on the right path. So yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to share. Guys, no amount of money ever bought an ounce of time. So thank you so much for sharing some with me. I can see that we are growing, and thank you so much to each supporter. It means a lot. Like I'm cheesing over here, like it's crazy. But thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for everyone who has taken some time out of their day. And if you made it to the end of the video, please just drop a comment and say, I'm working on myself, Jade. Promise. Thank you so much. And you have a beautiful rest of your day, okay?